Welcome back everybody. Today we're gonna play Astra on Bind. Today is day 160 of playing every agent on every map. And we also have my night market here, so let's see what kind of skins I got. Mostly I don't need any skins from the night market, but at least this one I like pretty much. I don't really like this one, but like the rest is okay. Let's see the big ones. Do we get lucky? We do not really get lucky. I don't mind the Cryostasis Bulldog. I mean, I don't mind the whole Cryostasis bundle, but I don't need the Bulldog from it. And the Blade of Aemondir is just a little too big for me. So it is a decent pull, but yeah, not the best ones. And today we are back again on Bind. I know I'm kind of spamming Bind, and I'm also going to be spamming Corrode next week. That is because those are the two maps I don't have that many videos on, and I kind of need to catch up on those. So don't you worry, other maps will come soon again. But firstly, we're going to have at least one full week of Corrode, maybe even more. And tomorrow is going to be another Bind video. I don't know which agent yet, so if you have any suggestions, write them down in the comments. Other than that, I think Astra is a pretty underrated pick on a map like Bind. It has been played in some pro play games, because Astra is just, in general, a pretty good controller, but still, a map like Bind doesn't really make her shine that much. You can do a lot of really good plays with her, but still, a Brimstone can do most of those plays as well. Brimstone is just easier to play, but a Astra having kind of recharging smokes, also an Astra ult being really strong for a B and an A retake is a pretty good thing about her, and her stuns and sucks can be used all over the map. Also, her smokes being pretty big makes her a pretty valuable controller on this map. Starting off with A-side defense. On A-side defense, at the beginning of the round, you can place a star right here. This star allows you to have a one-way for the people that are coming into a main. What this star also allows you to do is to play here close. As soon as you pop it, you can walk all the way around, jump on top of this thing, and then get on top of these boxes. This is an insanely strong offhang most people don't expect, and most of the times the enemies are not even gonna check you here. They're gonna jump up with their knife out, and you can get a free kill on them, and then go back down. It is kind of risky though, but it can work out sometimes. Another really good thing about this smoke though is if you smoke right here on this edge, you have a small gap right here where you can see people walking through and then decide to spray. This is especially strong with Phantom, but can also work with the Vandel if you have the right aim. Also, it is a one-way for the people coming out, so if the people are coming out, you're going to be able to see their legs first, and you have an easy time killing them. The other option for a smoke here on main is one like this, where you smoke like this, and you can kind of catch the people off guard that are jumping up here on top of these boxes by playing on top of these boxes right here. But it is still a really risky spot, because you might see the people going up there, but if somebody walks out here of the smoke, or just in general somewhere there, it is really hard for you. Plus also the enemies are going to use some flashes. Another option that you have is to use a smoke right here, or even use this one as a recall smoke to cross over in towards that corner, or to make the people think that you crossed over. Like that, you can get a pretty early aggressive timing into this spot right here. Same thing also if you have, for example, a chamber or a Yoru that can TP out. If you have any other agent, if you do it on an Astra, it is really risky, but if you play here close, for example with a shotgun, waiting for the enemies to come in, you can get a lot of kills like that and make it really hard for the enemies to take their main space. Other than that, if you decide to go for an aggressive play, you can smoke off either one of these sides or even a little deeper. With a smoke right here, you block off this side. With a smoke right here, you block off the side to the right, making it harder for the enemies to fight you and make it easier for you to fight the left side. And with a smoke back here, it makes it harder for the enemies to even come out, but then you need some util here as well, and then you can fight the people on the other side right here. All of these three options are pretty good ones, but you need to coordinate that with your team, and you need to have an aggressive play for that. I recommend that you have a Raze or a Techo to molly or nade the other side. Now switching over towards showers. On showers, this smoke is a pretty good one right here. With a smoke right here, it makes it really hard for the enemies to come out, and combined with that smoke, you can use another star close here. As soon as you hear the enemies coming out or think the enemies are coming out, you can use a stun or a suck to make it harder for the enemies if they are coming out to actually get a fight on you. The other option is a star right here, allowing you to either cross over or have an aggressive peek to fight this here, or just use it as a normal smoke to get this ult orb right here close in bath. Like this, you can get this ult orb pretty easily. You can also walk up to this corner or this corner, making it really hard for the enemies to take this space. Other than that, what I like doing is either use a star right here in the middle to pull the people out as soon as they're trying to go for a plant, if they smoke right here, or even if they don't smoke right here, I can spam through these boxes and do a lot of damage to them, or even use a star to mark where the enemies usually will plant at, and then spam with the help of this star. Just always be careful of people pushing through the area right here on showers. Another option that you can do with this star is to use a Odin to kind of wallbang through here and do a lot of damage to the players that are playing close. It is kind of a weird wallbang. It will work. It will do a lot of damage to the enemies, but also it is kind of affected by the people that are trying to push the lamps area. So I recommend that you have another teammate holding here, for example with a judge, and then you can just spam through here. Same thing can also be done, by the way, from this side through these boxes. You can do a lot of damage to the players, but you have to be worried about people pushing you through their smokes. You can then again use a stun or a suck there, or make it really hard for the enemies to just take this space with just spamming with an ult. Other things that you can do is spam through these boxes right here on headshot level, around this edge right here. There's gonna be headshot level, and then you can just shoot through here. Maybe you can try get a kill like that. For a retake, you can use stars here close, stars here, stars even towards bench and towards the area right here on bath, and use these as stuns or sucks to suck or stun the people coming out, or use smokes up here, or on top of the spike to go for a defuse. What I recommend that you do most of the times is to smoke off the spike and have your teammates hold in front of the smoke or inside of the smoke itself, waiting for the enemies to come in. If the enemies have a lot of util, I recommend that you have them fighting more aggressively against them so they can't use their util properly. Else, use a smoke, go for a defuse, or maybe even use a recall smoke to fake out that you're going for a defuse and catch the people off guard because they're swinging out trying to shoot you, and then you can just wait for them and shoot them in the head pretty easily. Now switching over towards taking the space right here on lamps. This can be pretty hard, especially if the enemies have an agent that likes to play shotgun, for example a Raze or a Neon. Using a stun right here can help you out pretty much. If they use a bucket or something, just jiggle peek the corners, making sure that you don't get one bucket, because with a stun that is still pretty possible, or even pre-fire the corners and get kills like that. Again, you can also use a similar stun or suck right here to get the people that are playing in this close corner, maybe even people playing close here, because they have to go all the way in the corner to not get hit by the graph well or the stun, and then you can get an easy pre-fire on that. Switching over towards B now, and on B it is pretty simple. If you want to play hookah, use a smoke right here. If you want to even peek out of hookah, you can use a recall smoke right here and use a flash to get really far out, flash the people, and then get a free kill on the people that are full flashed and have a really aggressive early peek. I don't recommend that you are the person actually peeking out of the smoke. I still recommend that your duelist does that, but you can peek with them here close around the corner and try to get a kill like that. This is a really strong play if you, for example, have a Yoru. The Yoru can flash out of your recall smoke, walk over, get a kill, and then TP out, and you peek close and fight the people that are trying to kill the Yoru. Other than that, for long, using a smoke right here can be pretty good if the enemies are trying to come in, if they already have taken the long space. Same thing also with hookah. If they have taken the hookah space, use a smoke right here. If the enemies are trying to take the long space and you don't want to let them take the long space, you can use a smoke right here to kind of block them off and get this ult orb right here before the enemies can even take it. Or you can even decide to go for a fight on them by recalling a smoke right here, waiting for the smoke to fade, and then fighting the people behind it. Same thing also using a recall to just cross over. So in the beginning of the round you have a star there, you recall the smoke, cross over towards this side, and make it harder for the enemies to guess that you're here. You can then even use a smoke here, smoke or a recall smoke here, to fight the people that are coming out of long. Just be aware, if you are playing in this corner, you can TP away, and the enemies can still flash out of the smoke, so be careful of that. Always be ready for a flash. Turn away, fight back, and try to get a kill, and if you don't get a kill, just TP out. The one thing that is kind of special about an Astra is her ult. Her ult can be used pretty well to re-clear a site or to go for a defuse. You can use a lot of different ults. One that is actually pretty good is one like this. But then you need to take the space first. You need to make sure that you have all the space, then you can go backside and ult like that and go for a defuse. Like that, your team can play almost exclusively in front of the smoke, in front of the wall, and make sure they can get a easy kill. Or if the enemies have planted right here, or in this area in general, they're most likely going to play in the bath area, then you can use a ult like this one. Blocking off short, blocking off bath, make it really hard for the enemies to come in. Even playing on top of these boxes, waiting for the enemies to come in, and going for the fuse inside of the smoke can be pretty strong, because the enemies, even if they come out and kill you, the person inside of the smoke is still kind of protected, and it makes it really, really hard for them to retake the space. And for B, it is pretty similar. You can use a similar ult for B. I don't recommend that you use your ult before the enemies have planted. You can do that sometimes, but it is most of the times not really worth it. For B, using an ult like this can kind of help you. Making sure it goes through here and it goes through here, but it is kind of difficult to get it perfectly through both of the areas, so just make sure it's especially on long that it is right there, and right here on hookah you can just get up here and hold the people that are trying to walk through. Again, then using a smoke on top of the spike wherever they have planted can be pretty strong. Also using stuns and sucks in front of the smoke or in front of your wall or behind them make it really hard for the enemies to come in, and even if they come in, they're gonna get sucked or stunned, which makes it really, really hard for them to get through the wall and get a kill on the diffuser. And now switching over towards attack. And on attack, you have a couple of options for Astra smokes. Astra only has 2 smokes, but they're still pretty useful because they're pretty big. You can use a smoke right here and right here if you decide to attack this site from only main. Using smokes right here and here will block off most of the site. Also, it will block off heaven because Astra smokes are pretty big. If you're splitting the site from showers and from short, you can use smokes here and here to block off most of the area. With these 2 smokes, it makes it really hard for the enemies to fight you, and in general makes it really easy for you to take the space. And then you can use a stun or a suck in these areas right here, making sure you can take these areas pretty easy. Same thing also here, if you know somebody's playing close, you can use this a suck. Another thing that you can do sometimes if you want to kind of fake the A site, make sure that most of your players are here, and then you can use a recall smoke right here to TP through and go over towards B. Other than that, if you have the A site and you want to take alls off the backside as well, you can use smokes up here and a smoke right here to smoke off the backside, all of the site, make it really hard for the enemies to fight against you, and also make it pretty easy for you to take the space. Combined with that, you can use stuns towards the backside areas. In general, almost every corner can be used as a stun corner to kind of clear these corners out, or even as a suck. Just make sure that you still have a star to kind of re-smoke stuff, because most of the times your hit is not going to be successful in the first time. You have 5 stars, you can use the 2 smokes and then your other abilities as well, and then you can have 1 star left for another smoke, even maybe 2 stars left if you want to play post plant with the suck. If you do want to play post plant with the suck, I don't recommend that you use your suck on the side exit, because it takes 40 seconds for it to recharge, and 40 seconds is exactly the spike timer. So if you use it, you will only have like a few seconds towards the end of the spike to even use your suck. So keep your suck for the post plant if you want to use it, or if you use your suck, make sure that you plant after some time after you have used it, so you still can use it for the post. Other than that, if you have already taken the site and have planted, you can use smokes like this to kind of block off all of the area, play inside of these smokes, make it really hard for the enemies to come in, have somebody hold this, and make it really hard for the enemies to come in. Also, you can have gaps right here to kind of fight the enemies like that, or you can even play in lamps yourself, wait for a teammate holding you here. You can play close in this corner, just place your stars, and kind of trade your teammate that is trying to hold the people from coming in towards lamps. For an ult on A, there's one option that I pretty like. It's this one right here, where you kind of wall off all of the front side. Also, you kind of wall off yourself on B, so the people, if there are people on B, they won't even hear you TP, unless they are in the hookah area or in the garden area right here, which is a pretty strong thing. You can fake this side like this, take some more space, even use stars behind the smokes, make it feel more like a fake, or even just hit the side like this. Just be aware that you have to push through your own wall right here on lamps if you want to get control of this area. With a wall like this, you can easily just TP over and make it kind of a fake towards B as well, but then you have to push through your own smoke, which is kind of a bad idea. On the other hand, if we're now switching over towards B, you can use your stuns and sucks inside of the hookah area to clear out this corner, clear out the other side as well. This is a pretty strong thing. For example, using a stun right here, stunning anyone that's on this side, just focusing this side, or even ignoring this side, focusing the other side first and then clearing out this side, because the people on this side are going to be stunned, to kind of take the space is a pretty good idea. Same thing also with long. If you think somebody's peeking out of long right here, you can use a stun or a suck right here. Also, using recall smokes to take this space, for example right here, can be pretty strong. Recalling a smoke, making it think, yeah, that you have smoked off this area, and then the smoke just disappears, the enemies are in the middle of the open. Just be aware, if you recall a smoke right here, the enemies can push through towards the other side of the teleport. Other than that, if you're exacting B, you are using these 2 smokes 99% of the times. They are the best smokes for taking the B side, because they block off the elbow area and they block off the CT area. The other options for smokes that you can use on some eco runs, but they are not really that good, are smokes like these. They will not give you a lot of space. They will also allow the enemies to play in a lot of spots. They are allowed to play in this area right here. They can just peek out if you're going for a plant. Same thing also on the other side. If you are planting close in this corner, they can just spam here. They can even spam through here, making it really easy for the enemies to hold this space. So don't use these 2 smokes unless you're on an eco round or you have a special plan for that. Other than that, smoking here and here will do you a pretty good job. Or the other option is to, if you are all going from long, is to smoke here and CT, and smoke off hookah, smoke off CT, and then take the elbow space with, for example, some stuns on some sucks in these 2 areas, making it really hard for the enemies to play in these areas. If you have an ult, your ult can be used right here, or it can even be used kind of like this, to get a part of the elbow area, but still I don't recommend to use this ult. It isn't a great ult. It can allow you, if you have a Yoru, to TP in this backside without the enemies hearing it, but still it is kind of a 50-50 ult. Another ult that you can use is also one like this, but I don't like this ult because again it allows the enemies to play on the backside. It is better for you to go for a plant, but still the enemies can peek out on this side, they can peek out on this side, and it is really hard for you to hold this space. And again, saving 1 star for a post plant can be pretty good because your sock can get people off of the spike 99% of the times. You can get body block to stay on the spike, but it is still a pretty hard thing to do, and in most ranked games that will not happen. If I had to give Astra a rating from S to F, I'd actually give her the A tier. In my opinion, Astra can be an S tier agent. It kind of depends on the team play and also on the comp that your team has, but at least an A tier is always guaranteed on an Astra. Astra is a pretty versatile agent. You can lurk pretty well on an Astra, which is a pretty good idea on a map like Bind, where you can fast TP and fast rotate, making it really hard for the enemies to read you. Also, her stuns and sucks can be really annoying to play against in most situations, and also her ult is a pretty good post-plant tool, which can be used to win your rounds. Other than that, also going for a plant is a pretty hard thing on a map like Bind, and once you got the plant down, I think Bind has one of the highest win rates, in pro play at least, and also probably in ranked, after you have gotten the plant down. So if you get the plant down, which is a pretty good and pretty easy thing with an Astra, you have a pretty high chance of winning. Also, Astra having a lot of post-plant util as well can be pretty good, and she has a lot of outplay potential as well. That would be it from me. If you want to see any other agent on any other map, write it down in the comments, and if you want to see anything else Valorant related, write it down there as well. And as always, don't forget to like and sub, and come say hi to me on Twitch, where I stream almost daily. Have a great rest of your day, and see you guys very soon. Bye!